Good afternoon, everybody. It's GTAGUPOS, and here we are with our unpopular opinions. Today's topic is the echo chamber. For those of y'all who do not agree with the echo chamber, or do agree with the echo chamber, that I believe it's unnecessary. It's something that pretty much causes issues and causes everyone to go ahead and be stuck with the same opinion, the same thoughts, and I think it's good to really get into mixed crowds and share your opinion, so that way there's opposing views. How you doing, young Barkley?
Oh, right. I got to go to live comments.
No problem. And also, we have Honest Gas with us. For those of y'all who do want to discuss the echo chamber discussion, you do have the ability to join this stream. The main thing that I ask is that you keep it PG-13. I will let you know ahead of time that I do have software on my computer that will read your IP address. So if you do show anything that is against any federal crimes, I'm going to be sharing it with the FBI. I'm just going to let you know. That's just how it goes. So how you doing, Sam?
Is that from experience? Jeez.
Yeah, I have experience with tracing IPs, so it's all good. I'm not going to trace it unless there's something. If there's something illegal being put on there. And again, I can see what's happening before anybody tries to share it, but definitely if you're going to be putting up anything that's against the law.
Have you seen those, not to get off topic, but have you seen those videos of there's one called Scammer Revolts, and he does a really good job, and they like Siski and track down and stuff like that. But of course, the world doesn't care. So.
Syskeys are just a way to lock down a computer, right?
Right.
So
sometimes they'll actually go in, take the files, save them on their own computer, and then delete everything off their computer. And then, of course,
right.
fill memes and fill it with screaming memes and stuff like that.
Right.
And of course, an exchange of profanity and two different languages ensues.
I'm gonna share what I have here, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna share it here, and this is all open network. If you don't see on this screen, this UDP, all these protocols, you see how it's tracking all that information there?
Yeah.
Right. I keep that going on like 2 of my computers at all times. Right. So whenever those different colors show up, that's a different IP address that I can go ahead and trace.
Nice.
So anybody who comes in here and wants to do something, against TOS, who wants to be malicious and just try and get me struck down,
nefarious.
That's the security protocol there. It's like, I'm not really worried about getting my channel banned or anything, but I am worried about anybody trying to say I had like some kiddie porn on my computer. Like, no, that was this dude here.
Well, I think you'd be able to tell when it got on your computer too, though, right? So it would be like,
I mean, like,
and it's been there for 10 years. That'd be something else entirely.
I think the main thing is I don't want to be accused of broadcasting it at all,
So today's topic is something I've been wanting to talk about because it involves, it's heavy. It's relative to
you're cutting out a little bit
right now, and that is, oh yeah, I might be just stuttering. So the thing I'm trying to, so what happened after the Floyd incident was that everybody picked a side. There's some people who did, like me, I just rolled my eyes, after all the crap started happening. Of course, at any rate, so I'm sure a lot of people watching this have experienced a lot of their friends on Facebook getting a little hysterical and living in black and white, either you this or I that, that kind of thing. And certainly I've been called racist so many freaking times. It's like it doesn't even faze me anymore. It's just like
yeah. How you doing, Johnny Ditto? Yeah, the conversation's about the echo chamber. The echo chamber. Pretty much anybody who has a different opinion is not allowed in the circle we want to keep the same opinion. How do you feel about those conversations where it restricts you from going out and, you know, expressing your views that can, you know, lead to a constructive conversation?
Right.
Me personally, I think echo chambers are, you know, pretty sucky, because again, it just makes it to where you're not really trying to educate yourself. You're not trying to have any challenges. You're trying to have somebody agree with you and, you know, not have any difference of opinions. So
Right.
if you like to join, you can always click the link that I usually share periodically. But if you find it, you can go ahead and click it. You can join in. You can talk to us one-on-one, you know, and share your opinion on the echo chamber.
That's a good summary, Paul Jackson.
Right.
So this sort of thing is worsened by big events like the Floyd incident, where the echo chamber was already pretty darn strong and heavy, and the only way we can really be friends with a lot of people who are on an opposing side are if we're friends with them in real life, because of course real life offers a hell of a lot more communication than over text kind of thing. You know, as soon as that happens, you say something that even remotely goes against their worldview, then it's you're racist, you're this, you're that, you're homophobic, you're sexist. You know, I can't believe we were friends. You know, that kind of thing. And I guess part of the discussion today will be the ramifications of that sort of thing, what we can expect in 10 years. You know, because like ever since the media started, I imagine that was when the whole world was able to connect and become one, and slowly but surely everybody's just divided themselves up, you know.
Yeah, I'll be honest, guys. There's some things that I watch on YouTube that, you know, I don't strictly watch audits on YouTube because it's like, you know, I've seen one, I've seen them all, right? Okay, I've seen, you know, if something bad is really happening, they're like, oh shit, you know, that guy needs some support. Let's go ahead and share this video and get it out there. You know, something bad just really happened. But most of them is usually the same thing. You go in, you say, I'm recording, I'm sticking up for my rights. And then, you know, the person gets aggravated, and then, you know, everybody says, oh, well, you know, well, you're sticking up for your rights, so let's go ahead and call flood this place and, you know, share our opinion. And there's nothing wrong as long as everything's legal and everything's kept to it. But again, there's some points where I see, you know, people overstepping boundaries and then saying, because we're in this echo chamber, you know, we're supposed to agree with them overstepping those boundaries, allowing, you know, to where we become even worse than the police ourselves, you know? So it's like, you know, well, you're supposed to stick to our boundaries, you know, and we're constantly upping up those boundaries, you know, granted our boundaries and our policies that we have, which are, I say there are none really, you know, really don't affect anybody legally. I mean,
Right.
lawfully or lifelike. But again, we're overstepping boundaries in some cases, where it's no longer just photography, but it's, you know, seeing how far I can get into somebody's property before, you know, I'm trespassed, you know, or see how far I can, you know, push the issue with something. You know, I understand, like, you know, but in our community, we accept it.
Right.
You know, go ahead, guys. You got something to say?
Oh, I was saying even the audit community is its own echo chamber. The atheist community, the gay community, any group is essentially an echo chamber. And when I was involved, learning about religion, learning about atheism, I was involved in the atheist community. I didn't necessarily get into the chat rooms or anything, but I was following what going on and feeling the same ways they did. And as soon as I started chilling out, when I started getting a little older and rolling my eyes more than scoffing, then, you know, things came into perspective where I'm going to the chat rooms and atheist communities, and they're all one voice. They're all one people. They all have one thought, and they don't differ from it, or you're kicked out, kind of thing. You know, jeez.
Yeah, I know. There was a, what was it? There was a Officer Tatum. If y'all haven't seen his channel, right? I don't recommend it. but I still say check it out because it's a difference of opinion, right? Officer Tatum is an ex-police officer whose his opinion is, we need the cops. The cops are there. There's an attack on cops. He's obviously pro-cop because he's an ex-officer. But again, there was an episode where he had someone who was a lawyer talking about the Ahmaud Arbery case. And yeah, it was funny. It was a live stream discussion. And I thought it was real funny that during this whole live stream discussion, the lawyer that he was speaking to explained that the people who chased Ahmaud Arbery do not have probable cause to assume that he was stealing anything. They just have him entering and exiting a building under construction, and that under the law in the area that they're at, they didn't have the right to pursue him. They didn't have the right to hold him at gunpoint, and it's not self-defense, right? And literally the next video later, Officer Tatum reached out to his audience and said, Ahmaud Arbery was there robbing places, he was breaking into places and such, he was a such and such, and they had the probable cause to go ahead and chase him and do such and such. Right after somebody who has legal, credentials, a lawyer telling you, no, they didn't have it, he goes back on the next video and says, well, yeah, they had it, such and such and such and such. But I noticed that, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, he might have seen more information, because a lot of times people will pick up the story right as soon as it comes out, and there's only that tiny 10-second clip, Like me, I saw the Aubrey video or whatever, and I certainly don't think it was murder. It's also I wasn't there kind of thing. Even lawyers are not gonna look at things if they've got an agenda where they're convinced that, say, Aubrey was an innocent person under those circumstances. They think that even if it wasn't true, even if it is true, their opinion is going to be kind of skewed, just like anyone. For me, I look at it from a totality of circumstances thing. I don't know all the story, so I'm not gonna come to any conclusions, kind of thing. That might be a cop out, but it's also like I don't have any fucking say in what goes on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I like a difference of opinion because it offers a chance to offer a discussion. It was something like, hey man, you like Bud Light? Yeah, I like Bud Light. Nothing's better than Bud Light, right? Yeah, nothing's better than Bud Light. Cool.
Oh,
all right, great discussion. We'll all drink Bud Light.
You're
it's
drinking
a boring world.
How dare you?
What? Yeah, you like Corona? That's gross. Nah, dude, Bud Light's fucking disgusting. Nah, dude, Corona's disgusting. Like, it's good to have a little bit of a, banter between folks. But again, what I was saying about this guy, Officer Tatum, he talked about the Breonna Taylor case, the lady who got shot in her house during the no-knock raid. And, me personally, I don't believe that no-knock raid should be a thing in the first place because, again, a lot of innocent people get hurt. But again, he goes out to his echo chamber and he says, guys, look at me. I'm saying this, and no-knock warrants are a necessity. Just because a few people get killed off of no-knock warrants doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It happens. I was like, that's the problem. It shouldn't happen. We should have a more open discussion, about this, thing. Instead of you talking to your cop buddies, people who adore cops, talk to people who don't like cops. Talk to people who are, kind of in between with cops. But you just reach out to this. Yeah.
Let's take his word on it. Let's say that they are necessary. So what's the solution for people getting murdered or not murdered? Well, yeah, who are getting killed for wrongful no-knock raid kind of thing. So my question to him would be, what is your solution? What is your punishment for making that mistake? It's extreme enough for me to say, like, all bets are off. You didn't do your job right, and you should be punished.
Oh yeah, and he's even said like his response to like how things are going to go is like, they're going to get administrative leave. They're going to go ahead and go to therapy. They're going to go see a shrink. They're going to make sure that they're well enough to come back to work. And I was like, do you really think that's, good for,
Those poor cops, they had to go through a traumatic experience.
Yeah, so it's like me hearing it from somebody else's ears, it infuriates me, right? But I'm still like, dude, you need to talk to more people. Like, if you really think that your opinion right now is that it should still be a thing, right? Because other criminals may be getting away. Well, here's the problem: other criminals are getting away, but innocent people are being killed.
Right.
So how do you stop these innocent people from being killed while you're looking for the bad guy? And of course,
very strongly for the death penalty before I realized that even if one innocent person gets put to death, you've just negated your entire premise of trying to
right.
justice. Because if justice means the bad guy goes to jail or gets killed or whatever, then one person getting killed one innocent person getting killed, you may as well just let everyone off.
Yeah, like he goes back to he says the necessity of the no-knock warrants are, and this is an argument to make you emotional, right? This is an argument to make you emotional. So you want us to go ahead and do a knock on a pedophile's door. You want us to knock on a pedophile's door or somebody who's looking at child pornography. You want us to knock on their door so what, they delete it all? And right. I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I worked in IT. I know there's recovery management teams who can pull that stuff back up. When you delete your stuff, it's not really gone, right?
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, like there's ways to find out what he's been into, where when he deleted, what he deleted, and also they're saying knock. I say if you knock after that and he answers the door and he's like, "Oh, it's police." Well, you knocked.
Yeah.
We know you knocked, and he's against the Breonna Taylor decision, the Breonna Taylor law, where police officers can no longer do no-knock warrants. Where Breonna Taylor is at, they have to wear body cams 5 minutes before initiating a warrant and 5 minutes after the situation's been completed, right? Because I think that's the main thing is there's no transparency, but I noticed that his arguments are, and this is where I go back to the echo chamber. His arguments are this with Ahmaud Arbery. Well, Ahmaud Arbery was a criminal, right? He was robbing places, he was stealing from places. So, and that other person, he knew him from his old cop days. So yeah, he was up to any good. He wasn't out there just jogging. When it came to the Breonna Taylor situation, right? He goes, "Well, shoot, she was in and out of the drug game." This is his own words. She was in and out of the drug game. She wasn't just an innocent bystander in her own home. I bet she was shooting back at the police officers, right? And not one point does he say like, man, an innocent person lost their life, or somebody who we suspected of being in a drug situation lost their life, and we have no idea if they were actually involved. We just know that a package went from their house to the neighbor's house who we did raid, and it went successfully, right? So I was like, so you keep, I don't like slandering people's names, right? I don't do that. I don't destroy people's characters, but I noticed that's his argument to appeasing the echo chamber, right? And making that person into a criminal.
He has a duty to
a criminal. Right? Yeah.
No,
but I noticed that. Yeah, go ahead.
It's, I guess the argument. Man, I guess I lost my train of thought there. It's since it didn't fit his narrative to, since they got in trouble for killing this person. Now it's, oh, look at her background, look at this, look at that, but with the Aubrey thing, it's like what I said before. Only 10 seconds of the thing came out initially, just the part that everyone wants to highlight, kind of thing. But I don't remember if it was him or not. One of the people who died recently pointed a gun at a pregnant woman, and they're still defending them. kind of thing. So
yeah, George Floyd. He in his past, he did go to a person's house who was a pregnant lady, put the gun to her, belly, and he did serve time for that, right? But I think people are conflating. It's like, I don't defend that action at all.
right.
But being killed in the street is being killed in the street. Do you deserve to be killed in the street? No.
Right. And recent stuff came out from that. I guess we're slightly off the echo chamber thing, but apparently the Floyd incident, recent stuff come out that he was a clear case of excitable something or other, normally found with people in PCP. I'm trying to remember. At any rate, they have a really large, very high rate of dying. Even days later, people who experience this excitable something whatever syndrome typically die anyway, kind of thing, even if they give them the shot. And that the procedure that they did was exactly how it goes, and they didn't. My thing is, they don't freaking give out the body cam. There's body cam for the whole incident.
That's all we're asking for. If they show them the body cam, it would like open everything up, right, and let the community. And I understand why they're not going to do it, right? Because if you haven't served on jury duty, you wouldn't understand as to why they're probably keeping that hidden. Mainly, they want you to be unbiased to that body cam footage, right? So you know what happened. You know the end result. You know that he died. There was a knee to his neck. He passed out. He then suffocated to death. But they want to say, but we have body cam footage. Now, that body cam footage could either be damaging or, something to redeem them of, using force to take him down. But still, it doesn't redeem the fact that they left a boot or a knee on his neck, for 8 minutes,
Like, the trouble with this whole incident with the Floyd thing is that the cops aren't necessarily in the wrong, legally speaking. There's no procedure that says you can't put the knee on the neck, and there are countless incidents.
So
where
I will say that's not universal. So again, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
No, I agree. In their area, it's either way. It's say the cops do wind up that they charge them too quickly, and that the prosecution's not going to do it because there's not enough evidence. For whatever reason, for charging them too quickly, they're going to get off, and then it's going to be another wave of burned cities and stuff like that.
You know what? About the murder thing. All right, so this here, I think we've all probably talked about this situation a while back. The Rashad Brooks case. That was the guy who was at the Wendy's who got shot in the back by the officers, and he had wrestled them to the ground and took their taser. Of course, the officers were trying to arrest him, but here's the situation in that one. I think the charges of felony murder on that officer is really a sham.
Yeah,
it's really a sham. That guy's going to get off. He's going to go off free. It's a sham. There's no way in general that they're going to hold him to felony murder.
That's an easy one because as soon as lethal force is authorized, there's no reason to go down from that. Now, legally speaking, of course. Did they have to shoot him? I think that if I was in this situation, you're damn right, I would have shot the shit out of that guy, because he fought two dudes and shit like that or whatever. The trouble is that nobody wants to put any responsibility on him. He's in there passed out for whatever reason in a drive-through, lying out the teeth. I mean, you can tell he's lying because obviously he knows he's in trouble. And the thing that upsets me is that I want police accountability. I don't want extreme mob justice. They burned down the Wendy's. They burned down the Wendy's.
Yeah, they did. And the prosecutor, he came out with the murder charge, the felony murder. And I'm pretty sure, I'm telling you guys this right here. This is the reason why I don't just listen to what auditors say or what police say. I listen to both sides, right? Legally speaking, that officer had to be committing a felony during the time that he shot Rashad in the back, right? So, according to the charges, right, and this is the reason why I don't, this is the reason why I don't listen to like a stick in the echo chambers, because there's people who are pro this officer being charged with felony murder, but whenever you play the 48 or 43-minute video, you're going to see that them getting out of the car, them talking, them having a discussion, them doing the sobriety test, them doing everything else, and next thing you know, it goes south real quick.
Right. It had nothing to do with race.
It goes south real quick.
Yeah.
But the main thing is there's gonna that case is gonna be thrown out. I can already see it.
Yeah. I mean,
I can already see it.
I don't exactly want cops dead. It's like there was just recently a guy, cop died because he didn't shoot someone with a rock. And so are we going to say
frozen river? Okay. See, the water's very blue.
How you doing, Huckland?
Very, very blue. We done it.
All right, we hear some audio in the
Pretty good, man. Go. Long day, guys.
How's it going, man?
No. Hopefully, there's a little bit more.
I think we got you in the background.
Doing pretty good.
Huckland, how's it going?
I think there's a lot of iron.
Yeah, you got a little background noise there, right? There we go.
There's something happening.
Yeah, I need to turn. Hold on. Turn that down a little bit, Catherine. Have my daughter turn down her TV show.
Oh, yeah.
No worries.
There you go. That's
yeah. Yeah, and in hindsight about the whole
so
Rashad, we're talking about the echo chamber. Pretty much, is it a good thing to just have a discussion that everyone agrees with, or should we all go ahead and enjoy the freedoms of our First Amendment and speak out to those who we even disagree with, or try and find a common ground? If not, just have a simple discussion.
Well, my philosophy is certainly any group is only as good as its first member, and any group is responsible for their image. So, even if it's your best friend in the whole world, if they're screwing up your group image, then you need to make it clear that they're not part of the group. The one channel for sure that is as far away from an echo chamber as you can possibly get, and that's Good Luck America, formerly known as Think Like a Cop. That guy will give you his opinion, and only his opinion, on any situation. And with that situation where he was drunk in the parking lot kind of thing, drunk in the driveway, he definitely agrees, or I agree with him, is what I should say, that they're not gonna, that they don't, that this is like a clear case of justifiable, legally speaking. Every time we talk about this, we're always equaling it, because that's a policy thing that we got to change. Like the next thing,
Yeah, I think in hindsight, we already know the whole situation that happened. Me personally, like even during the situation, I would let him run off. I would just let him run off because again, the cops already have his information. They already they have his vehicle. I mean, he's not driving anywhere. He did take a taser. He discharged it. And that was that for the taser. It's like, whatever he has a taser, let him run off with it.
Right.
Let him do a thing. But to shoot him in the back, I'm like, oh man. I'm pretty sure that was in the moment type of situation. But to charge him with felony murder, felony murder, I think he's just gonna get thrown out. You got a little feedback.
Doing pretty good, boss. I don't know what that feedback's coming from. No, if we're talking about the Brooks shooting, you know, you can't have it both ways. The DA is trying to charge him with felony murder, and he's putting out the statement that it was all casual and peaceful up until the cop pulled his gun, which we know that's not true.
Right.
And even the district attorney himself said short time back that under Georgia law, a taser is considered a deadly weapon.
Exactly. He did.
So
Yeah. Well, it can get
so when he said,
all kinds of things.
yeah, when he's sitting there saying that they had no reason to shoot Brooks, I disagree with that because he did turn back and shoot the taser before he was shot with the handgun.
Right. I think I just wanted a little bit of continuity. Like, I mean, I'd care more if the person was just minding their own business and just got beat up or killed or whatever kind of thing. Like, I'd certainly be more upset about that. Ken, how's it going? Love your life forever. Yeah. That's a good philosophy. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mute him while he's out. But yeah, like I did see the Brooks situation, and there's two sides of things, in which I tell everybody there's an echo chamber on both sides. We're not communicating; we're just saying our opinion on each side, right? And I watched the video, and I was like, okay, discussion. Me, if I was an officer, and he was like, hey, I live right down the road. My sister's house is such and such. He's drunk. I would have been like, hey, man, look, you're drunk. I can't have you driving. Let me park your car. Let me take you to your house. And we'll, no ticket, no nothing. That would have been me, personally, right? But it instantly started out with a tackle, right? Or not a tackle, a grab of of his wrist, trying to handcuff him. And that's where the outbreak started, the fight. And people are trying to deny that fight. And I'm here saying, like, I'm even on my side of things. I'm seeing the stuff, right? You may have the right to resist unlawful arrest, but, if they're saying you're drunk and you've been drinking, then what do you do? I'm not going to tell you to go out there and break the law and then fight the police officers, to try and prove a point, even if you may be in the wrong.
Well, see, I agree. No, if that had been an option available, that would probably be the best thing to do, is make sure he got home. But under Georgia law, they don't give them that option. Once you've been determined to be intoxicated, the law is that you have to go to jail.
Yeah.
And
I think they have to have more discussions about that.
That's actually because
I think that
mothers against drunk driving is what caused all that. People. I can get the extreme part, right? Like that people can die and stuff like that. But I honestly think the alcohol law, the drunk driving laws are a lot more extreme than they should be. It's the kind of people used to be able to be driven home by the cops so that they can, sleep it off kind of thing if they didn't kill anyone kind of stuff. But like now it's a felony offense to take a sip of wine and go on a drive kind of thing. What I don't think it's a good thing. I think you shouldn't. I just don't think your life should be absolutely destroyed for a stroll. Of course, there should be consequences of some kind, I guess.
Yeah, love your life forever. I agree.
Mad that's responsible.
Yeah, what's that, Hawkwind? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, all I was gonna say is not just mad that's responsible. You got the Clinton crime bill that was passed.
Mm-hmm.
That has brought about a huge amount of issues when it came to arresting people, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, it didn't matter. Now, I do believe that a lot of it has been brought down mostly on black people because, of course, it's the crime bill. but I think a lot of the issues bills have been passed by Congress that were never thought through completely. Let's face it, they passed bills without any kind of thought about what the effects will actually be. No, they used to have to go. They used to have to study the after effects of a bill if it was passed. They don't do that any longer.
Right.
So the Clinton crime bill started a major trend and a domino effect that ended up with things like mothers against drunk driving.
Right.
Yeah.
It caused a lot of issues, and that's the reason why you see laws like if you caught drunk driving, that's your problem. We'll just take you to jail, even if he's parked. I mean,
Yeah.
Should he have died? No.
Right.
I think it has been handled differently, but the end result was that it was a justified freedom because he did initiate the violence.
Right.
But if he'd been offered, hey, we'll just take you home, drop you off, because he said his sister lived about a mile away, that would have been the end of it.
Right.
It's just that state laws no longer allow for police to do that because if something happens after that,
Right.
that officer can be held liable for that action.
Yeah, and that
Right.
kind of is the trouble in terms of like everyone is against the police except of course the system. Everyone is against the police, and they kind of turn into a brotherhood just from the training for one, the solidarity part, the fact that they all have to like work together. This echo chamber part, a conversation bleeds into the brotherhood of police is that they're no longer part of the community. They're on their own kind of thing, and so when we find situations like where he had shot the taser, it may have been depleted. We don't know if it's a new taser or not, and he still got shot. That in that incident, if we were all trying to be very fair about the situation, the guy didn't want to kill him. He was even asking how he was doing after the incident was over, and he didn't know the guy died. So it's in terms of a malicious intent that he deserves to be charged with murder, hang him in the street lamps, that kind of thing. Of course not. That's not justice. That's mob justice.
1 second. 1 second. Ken, yes, that very same DS district attorney a few months ago did say under Georgia law that a taser is considered a deadly weapon.
It's because it's not in the hands of a trained person. Whether we agree with it or not, I've got mace, right? And I could use it responsibly, or I could just mace someone I don't like, kind of thing. That's why I would get in serious trouble if I did anything like that. Now, it should be that if you have training and you do that, you should get even more punishment because you should have known better, kind of thing. But that's really the problem here, is that police are not being held to even our standard, where they should be held to a higher standard, So it's really
I agree.
Yeah. But how do we fix that, though? How do we fix the echo chamber that is the result of police not necessarily being in good light anymore? Because it's only going to get worse. And I know they tried at one point, like me, I wanted to be a cop as soon as a police officer came to my third grade class and showed off his gun, told us what he did and what his role was in society. And that affected me very positively forever until I got older, So, certainly got to get them while they're young, kind of thing. But that even brings up its own complications with programming and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I agree with how people are indoctrinated from elementary to see cops as Joe Cool would say as overseers, right? They're from day one said, do as the cop says, do as the cop says, do as the cop says, and that automatically forms the echo chamber right there, right?
Well,
from the get-go, the cops are good. Anything else, if the cop says something, you do it. If the cop says, turn 3 times in a circle, do it.
It's also, if you're in trouble, find a cop. So
right.
It's and you know what? Even when we were in elementary school, I'm pretty sure cops might have been different at the time. Uh, at least I'd like to believe that, um, considering nowadays kind of thing.
Yeah, I think once people actually like
A lot of the issues.
once people get out of their shell, get out of the echo chamber, and start looking into something that's considered controversial to others,
Right.
then you start to get a little bit more education. Then people start to say, "Oh, I don't want to associate myself with that guy because he's talking crazy," But when you're speaking facts, I had a guy who was literally telling me, that I was causing problems because an officer approaches me and I say, well, I don't want to ID because I know I haven't broken any laws. And he's not arresting me. He just wants to talk to me. And he goes, well, why won't you do it? I said, because I don't have to.
Right.
I said, why won't you do it? I said, well, I don't have to. I'm not legally obligated to. I don't want to talk to him unless if I'm being arrested for a crime. He goes, well, did the officer say to give you your ID? He said it, but guess what? I'm not going to do it.
Right. Yeah.
He goes, well, why would you cause an issue? Simple as that. Just give him the ID. That's it. Problem solved. And I was like, okay, what was the problem? Tell me what was the problem. He goes, well, it depends. Like, was he investigating like a murder or something? I was like, okay, so now he has my ID. What does that tell him?
That would have totally helped in his investigation for a murder by getting your ID.
Yeah. So it's like, the thing is that people are so indoctrinated in believing their ways,
Right. Direction.
Yeah, and my wife even explained it to me because if you believe in something so much, right, and to the 100th degree of believing anything, if anybody comes up to you with an opposing opinion, 90% of people are to double down on that belief, even if proven wrong.
Right. Well, that might have a lot to do with just the nature of communication. Is that some people, they're not in the conversation to expand. They're in the conversation. They're not in the conversation to expand their own minds. They're in the conversation to expand your mind in their eyes. So, I mean, I'm also obviously guilty of all kinds of gaffes and misrepresenting situations and stuff like that. But it's really difficult when you're dealing with people who not experience the same things you have. People claim certainly recently people are like, oh, you've never experienced bad police. You don't know what it's like. I'm just like, I remember the years of paranoia, looking over my shoulder, seeing if their cops are going to steal my goddamn car again, and pull me over for bullshit and stuff like that. So, anyway.
Well, the thing about most cops is they don't understand the laws they're actually enforcing. Most of them don't know the laws they enforce.
Right.
Like when they ask for ID simply because they think they deserve to see it. The law doesn't say that in Texas.
Well, we've been
to
just give it up. And like, oh, if you don't give it up, you must be hiding something. Oh, you must have warrants. Let me search your car.
Yeah, I love the fact. The thing about the echo chamber is here. That statement, just give it up, right? And here's the thing about just give it up. About that. Now, say somebody comes and stops you, and you haven't been committing crimes, and they say, I want your ID. And you say, no, I'm good. Do you suspect me of committing a crime? No. Okay. I've just confirmed you're stopping me just to stop me. You just want to see my ID. I'm not going to give up my ID. Now, say we flip that around, and they say, hey, sir, I want to see your ID. And say, do you suspect me of committing a crime? No. Okay, well, here's my ID, right? You give him the ID. He holds you there for about 30 minutes or so. He's still looking at your ID and running your name and getting everything else. He says, hey, while I have you here, you might want to put you in handcuffs. You say, okay, sure. You're complying. And then you say, you know what, I feel like this is a little bit wrong. I kind of want to take this to court. You go to court, and the judge says, well, you told him he could.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he could. Yeah. So there's no remedy for this situation.
When you give up that identification, you have surrendered your Fourth Amendment right. Because all they do is run your name, and whether you know they can if they find anything on you, you're in handcuffs on your way to the clink.
Right. And don't freaking tell me that they can't find out if you've got insurance on your car or not. Freaking my insurance card was with the ticket they gave me before when they towed my car and sent me to jail, and my proof of insurance was with that at home, and he had pulled me over a couple weeks before, and he still threw me in jail and still towed my car. So people want to say, oh, it only happens to certain people. And it's just like, they didn't know I was gay, or maybe they did. I don't know. They didn't know I was whatever political.
Not you.
They did it.
I knew you were gay from the moment you wore that tiara.
Apparently, my dad knew when I was 6.
Well, so here's this.
That's a
I
funny
have challenged that when they sit there and because when you get stopped, the law does not say you have to actually give up anything.
Right.
Except for your name, your birth date, and your address.
Right.
That's it. You don't have to give insurance. You don't have to present physical ID. I've challenged that in court, and I've won that in court. Why? Because it's a Fourth Amendment violation when they go and they start, because they're connected to a database for an insurance in Texas. They're connected to a database. They can run your tag, find out you don't have insurance. That's an unvalidated. That's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. They did not obtain a warrant to do that.
Right.
They didn't get a warrant to see if you got insurance or not. And when they sit there and when they do that, it's also a violation of the Fifth Amendment because you have been taken. They've taken away your right to stay silent.
Right.
The only thing I do is I get out my if I have to, I roll up my window to the width of my hand. I give them my name, my birthday, my address. Anything else, I'm sorry, get a warrant. Because you go into court, you can challenge it if you know how, and you can win.
Yeah, you can't. You got to be careful though. Is that like when you take advice, say from the internet, on what to do, how far down the window, what to say, kind of things. From what I can tell, a lot of those things don't necessarily work for you in the short term. But you're right though. If you do it, and you've got a decent judge and a decent prosecutor, then, or not prosecutor. If you're lucky, you might wind up on top. But the deck is always stacked in the court's favor.
Yeah.
Well, there's no law anywhere that says you have to roll down your window all the way.
Right.
There's no law that says that anywhere. And they can say, well, it's for officer safety.
My philosophy was always. My philosophy was always.
Yeah, I mean,
the incident.
Remember, the police are legally able to lie to you.
Of course, I guess I've been thrown in jail more often than not.
I mean,
I guess that's not true.
Let them take me to jail. Then becomes a bigger issue.
Yeah, if you go to jail, that's that's better for you. It's not better in the short term, but it's better in the long term.
It was certainly scary for me. Holy shit!
Yeah,
they're like, you better keep that gay shit down to a minimum. Someone got raped the other day, raped in that room the other day. I'm just like, oh, that's an argument for another day.
I'm not going to your side of town.
Right? Yeah. No, I personally think I don't belong in jail. That place isn't for me, man. Send me somewhere else. I'm fine. I don't eat people, I don't go to jail.
I don't think any normal person belongs in jail, to be honest with you. I think the only people that should be in jail are people who actually committed a violent crime.
Right. Yeah, and that's really the crust of the problem here is that it'd be great if we could live without police. I mean, we could. I think that it would be, certainly different, but it would be a really, really hectic transaction, that's for sure. Transition, because people would have to eventually learn that they better start learning how to defend themselves, because it's only them now. It's always been that way, but with that false sense of security. You got police standing outside of a movie theater, guy's killing a bunch of people, and police don't have a duty to act. You know, like you could be murdered right in front of them, and if they're assholes, they don't have to, and they could legally get away with it. You know, probably. You know, I wouldn't be surprised, kind of thing. They'd be like, "Oh, that guy was killing people. I didn't want to go in there. You kidding me?" Yeah. Like I didn't
the Parkland High School shootings.
Or even
Look at the
today,
Parkland High School shooting. You had a sheriff's deputy right there, and he did not go in to help anybody.
not just that, even today, the city's burning to the ground, and we're paying all this money for fire engines and fire departments, and they don't go in there. You know, it's like, come on, people. You know, really, it's just getting pretty crazy. I'd say vote, but I don't even know if I want to vote anymore. You know, at least not. I guess I just still got some time, kind of thing. At any rate, we should get back to the echo chambers thing. What are some solutions for echo chambers?
I really think more people just need to come together and have an actual discussion. You know, even if they hate it, even if they don't want to be there, say, you know what, I don't want to be here, but I'm going to listen to you. I don't want you know, like as I said, there are some people in the world that I do not agree with, but I'll still allow them on my channel to talk because I don't agree with an echo chamber, right? I don't agree with like saying, oh, I don't like this guy, for whatever reason. I don't like this guy for whatever reason, but I'm not going to give him a platform to talk about why he should be able to defend himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Such as, I think you have a friend who's opposed to guns, correct, Gas?
Yeah.
And every time you mention guns, they go la 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 la.
Or just runs out of the room. They're like, guns. That law was created when muskets were around, and then runs off.
Yeah. So it's like, what did that person learn from that? That every time there's a discussion about a gun or a gun's brought up, they're gonna flee. So you learn a way to get rid of them.
My dad was raised in Rhodesia, Africa, and the communists started shooting guns and killing people, and they had to go to war, and they lost the war, and he had to flee to America, and he still doesn't like guns. Like, you'd think that someone who has experienced like that kind of thing would be like, you know what, if that happens here, I want to have a gun this time. I'm going to do it a little differently this time. Because he joined the army because, if you're making good grades, you didn't have to join the army. So he made good grades, but as soon as he had to leave school, he had to join. And so, he got the training and all that and whatnot. So he knows how to use guns. It's all that Young Turks that he watches. Freaking ridiculous. And he's a brilliant guy, too. I mean, and he puts his mind to, he does it right the first time, and yet he's a hard left liberal. Like, it just makes no sense to me. When we discussed the Floyd thing, his immediate reaction was, no, he brought it up. He was saying, police today are killing people just jogging through the neighborhood. Or not police, he was talking about racism, and he was talking about how white racists went and murdered a guy just jogging through the neighborhood. And I'm just like, Dad, did you see the video? Did you watch what happened? I mean, like, to me, if someone was grabbing my shotgun, like, holy crap.
Yeah, with the Ahmaud Arbery situation, that one, because they did have trial, I think pre-trial, I'm not sure, but they did say they did pursue him, they did stop him in the middle of the road, and
right.
They did have their guns drawn, and but unfortunately, it's like you didn't have the right to pursue him, or you have the right to pursue, but you didn't have the right to block him. You know what I mean?
It's the same thing with road rage. That say you chase somebody, that has done something wrong, you're putting yourself in danger. So yeah, I'd say that they probably shouldn't have. It's just it wasn't illegal for them to make a citizen's arrest. Now, getting away with it and proving it's something entirely different, of course. But if we didn't live in this race-charged world, it wouldn't have even been noticed. It would have just been one more thing. Somebody was robbing or got chased and citizen arrest. They didn't die. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
But
it's
here's the
crazy.
thing:
Yeah,
you don't have to see the world in a race situation.
Mhm.
I have never been
Right.
one to sit there and see the world as race in a race along racial lines. I'm an American. I assume you're American. I assume G-Tag's American. That's what I say. I don't give a crap. I don't really give a crap if you're pink with purple polka dots. To be honest with you, the people who see things in a racial situation are usually the ones who are trying to make the division.
Right.
When
Or
it comes to echo,
racist.
what I want to see a list of facts. I don't want to hear someone else's take on it. I don't want to hear this guy's take on it. I want to see down the middle.
White
Show me
people.
the facts of the situation.
Yeah.
yeah. Like
And even with this race,
Hawkwind,
sorry.
you may know Hawkwind, Bernie, Texas. Especially if you're in the San Antonio area, you may know about Bernie, Texas. I used to go there in my last year of high school, but I lived at Valley Ranch there for about 3 years, and that's in a nice little neighborhood. People have like 2 acres of land minimum in that area. It's like, oh, let's go, hunting. Let's go do something. That's where it is. But I've never seen it as a race issue. But I've always made fun of like making it a race issue just to because I find it funny. I'm not gonna lie, I find it funny when like somebody's like bothering me. I'm trying to mind my business, and I'm just like, yeah, you just don't like seeing niggas around here. I get it, and they're like, oh, no, that's not what I meant.
I can't believe he said that. Is it all right if he said
Now, I grew up in
Nothing to say that shocked me, man. He's good to go.
yeah,
Man,
Right.
he's definitely
I got a Frosty from Wendy's the other day, right? And I asked my friend, "Is there a spoon in the bag?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, here's a little black spoon." Like a black spoon. I'm not gonna eat out of a black spoon. Of course, he was
Yeah.
black. That's what made it funny.
Yeah, so like I grew up in Bernie. I grew up in Germany. I grew up, in Colorado. I grew up in Arkansas because my dad was military. We traveled a lot, but mainly I grew up in New York. But I've never seen it as a race issue unless it's like somebody's like actually, pursuing me, and I'd like to go ahead and say, you know what, let me just go ahead and throw this out here. So yeah, you just don't like seeing black people, do you? I understand. You hate niggers, right? And I love it because it's funny to me. It's funny to me because they're either going to react two different ways, like, oh, no, it's not a race thing, or they're going to get really offended, right? They're going to get really offended that I even brought that up, right? And to me, whenever you get really offended that I even brought that up, it kind of says a little bit more about yourself.
Try saying fag at the gay club. Jeez Louise.
You did not just say that.
But racism does exist, guys. I have experienced it myself.
All right.
Or not seen it. I've seen it.
Guess you should probably explain that story about the gay club situation.
Oh, it's hang on. Let me tell this story real quick. So I used to be a janitor. Great job. I loved it. And I part of what I had to do was I had to clean a school. I think once or twice a week. Anyway, so I'm cleaning school. I get to see all the pictures and things like that or whatever. I've got friends who are black who've been to that school and graduated. Right. All along the walls of the school are the year pictures, the graduation pictures. And it goes all the way back to 1880, right? Not a single race other than white in every picture. And 5 hairstyles to go, between the whole lot. And black people have graduated from that school and been going to that school for decades. So they don't have any black people on their walls. So racism does exist in a way. It's just not popular to lynch anymore. Like, you go lynching, you're going to have the whole world come down on you now. So, like, racism in today's day and age isn't exactly as extreme as it used to be. Not saying that extreme cases don't exist. I'm saying that I can walk down the street as a gay person and not worry about getting killed every night. You know? It's still there, I guess, if we want to live in that kind of paranoid world. But I'm not going to let my whole world turn into a box because I'm too afraid to leave the house. You know, 20, 30 years ago, maybe I would have been afraid to walk down the gay streets because that's when it was happening a lot, where people would be like, you know, third gay person beat to death, you know, that kind of thing in the last 2 months kind of thing. I don't, maybe not 3, but you know what I'm saying? It used to be a lot more common back then. But, you know, now we want to act like it's still happening today. I say we as in the gay community. You know, they take everything to the extreme. And it's June right now, and they're having a conniption fit because they can't have their gay pride parades. Anyway, talk about echo chambers, right? Talk about echo chambers. The gay community.
Close the door.
Because they, you know.
Well, I mean, I had this argument in Discord not long ago. And
Yeah.
evidently, I'm a racist because I don't believe in affirmative action.
Right.
Because I think it takes away from the ability of people to work hard to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, well, you name me one successful black person, Ben Carson. He doesn't count. Candace, she's a race of her own kind. I'm like, you sure she just said that to me?
Right. Jeez.
My problem with affirmative action is that it, by definition, is a racist policy.
Right.
I will tell you.
I
I will
think
tell you this
if
here.
anybody deserves success, it's because you work for it.
Right. Well, if it was,
I will tell you
Say
this.
again, sir?
So I agree with you, Hawkwind, about the affirmative action, and I also agree. Like, some people may not like this opinion, which is why I like this discussion. It's an echo chamber. You may not like my opinion, but some of the most racist people out there in the world are people of their own race.
yeah.
Right? I have black people who will tell me, "Man, you ain't black." I'm like, so you're going to deny my reality? You're going to deny my actual reality because I have a difference of an opinion to you. And I was like, so you're denying my actual reality. And I was like, dude, I'm blacker than the Ace of Spades. First of all, if you're denying my blackhood, you're colorblind for sure. Like I'm dark.
Right.
Right? And I admit it. I've known I was dark since I was, 5. I knew it. I looked like I was baked in the sun too long.
Grape soda and Laffy Taffy and.
But people will try, like, the only race I ever had say you're not even black was another black person, right? That's the only people. You're not even black. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? You don't even talk black. What does that mean? How do you talk black?
Twilight Zone.
God, you dress like you're white. Oh, you don't even dress black. How do I dress black? You know, like, what do you mean?
If you don't support the trans community, you're not really gay. You know, it's just, it's everywhere. Christians do
I'm
it.
sorry, that just blows me away.
Nobody's harder on Christians than other Christians. Like that is a real thing. Honestly, sorry, Hawkwind, continue.
I'm agreeing with what you said. It is a real thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens. And that's the thing, is like there's such an echo chamber, and people are so opposed to different opinions. Whether you're a cop, whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're an auditor, whether you're a politician, there's always an echo chamber, and there's no one willing to hear outside of that echo chamber, and have a civil discussion, an actual discussion, to where you can probably make changes for the better for both sides, or for all sides, for any side, But again, people are people are so opposed to having those discussions, and people are so opposed to hearing those opinions and saying, well, you have to stick to this simple platform. You have to follow these structures of of society. There's a first come love, first come marriage, then comes a baby and a baby carriage. But now in this day and age, guess what you hear? First came love, then the baby carriage, and then somewhere along the way they still didn't get married.
Then they got a sex change. And...
Yeah. So, there's a lot of things that people find okay, and some things that people find not okay. But again, it's like, do you agree with the first comes love, marriage, then comes baby and baby carriage, or do you agree with the first comes love, then comes a baby? It doesn't matter. There's difference of opinions for everybody, and somebody, not everybody's going to agree with what happens, but shit happens, right?
On this planet. I would be in a different place at a different time. Talking to different people. No, yeah, it's definitely part of the problem is how, like, certainly in my case, how am I as an individual going to get the community, the gay community, to start being a little bit more reasonable with their crap? Because if it was about equality, right? If it was about equal rights for Black people, equal rights for gay, equal rights for trans, it wouldn't be gay rights. It wouldn't be Black rights or Black Lives Matter. It wouldn't be whatever. It would be equal rights, And I had this argument. I had this argument with somebody the other day where she was like, "Oh, well, if you were fighting for gay rights, then wouldn't you say gay rights or gay lives matter or whatever?" I'm like, actually, no. I'd say all lives matter, because just because I'm gay doesn't mean that you should get extra punishment for hitting me. That's not equality. That's rules for me, not for thee, kind of thing. It's like the opposite, rules for thee, not for me.
That reminds me. I did a stream where I went to the Women's March, I believe. I think it was the Women's March, and it was a surprise to me. I just didn't know it was the Women's March that day. But I was wearing my shirt that says, boys will be boys, and but then there's small text underneath that said, but girls can also be boys, and such and such. It's just a satirical shirt, right? And in the long run, it's just say, let everybody be whoever they wants to be. That's what it says. Somebody came to me because it says boys will be boys in the biggest, boldest lettering ever, right? But it says everything else in small lettering. And she says, I was about to be really offended at your shirt. I was like, why? She goes, well, because I saw boys will be boys. I said, but what's wrong with that statement?
Right.
She goes, it should be boys will be held accountable. I was like,
not girls.
I mean, I think everybody should be held accountable. Don't you think? She goes, well, boys definitely should be held accountable because they're the ones out here abusing, women. I was like, I said, I'm sorry, the main person I ever heard talk shit to another woman was another woman, right? And I said, unfortunately, I don't agree. Stop using big words, G-tag. But
no, you're right. The same thing.
But there's so many different protests out there that are so stuck in this box that you have to agree with what's going on in here. And if you think of anything out here, we're gonna boot you the fuck out. We're gonna boot you
out. It's do I even fit in this group? Like when I left the atheist community, it was because apparently you can't be an atheist and a Republican at the same time. Apparently that is a sure win to get kicked out, is that if you agree with any policies that have conservative values, then you're out. I didn't think that. I had been spending like a decade of my life thinking that the atheist community were rational thinkers, that they were reasonable people, that got along with others. And it's just like, dude, the left takes over everything. Everything, it really does. And even worse is that we've seen what conservatives in charge do, right? Is that if you're not conservative, tough luck kind of thing. And it's the same thing with the left. It's just like, do we want the left though? Like, now that we're seeing what the left is kind of coming up with, I honestly want to go back to the right. Like, I'd rather have less gay rights and more other rights than to have more gay rights and no rights Like it just to me, I'm like, please, people, please, like, stop, stop this. Why are you? Don't vote for Joe Biden. like, please. That's the crux of
Oh
it, though.
God, no.
I've certainly had less pleasure for
Well,
Trump
I mean,
since this quarantine. So like there should be like I'm on the fence 100% of the time. And I usually just jump off the damn thing before it's over and say screw it. But yeah.
So, guys, you should tell them the story about the nightclub. You should.
Oh my
This is
god.
a perfect example of an echo chamber.
It
And
had been
also a little bit of offense.
let's hear it.
It had been years since I'd been to the club, right? And so, like, to me, I hadn't been around gay people in forever. I find them extremely annoying. I try to avoid it at all costs. And I get there and I meet these people, and they're awesome. They're great artists and things like that. A couple of them are trans, whatever, it doesn't matter. And we're hanging out, and we're about, we've been hanging out for a couple of days, and go to the club again, and their new friend, I meet their friend for the first time, and he's this, he's a young, cute guy kind of thing or whatever, whatever. He was into meth, so it wasn't like I was interested in him or anything. But he's making out with this guy, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm a little jealous. I haven't made out with anybody in since high school, kind of thing. So, I just let him do his thing, and he comes back, and he's got this completely defeated look on his face. Apparently, he was straight, and was like, "Why didn't anyone stop me? Like, that was awful." I'm just like, "You seem like you're having a good time." And he goes, like, "Someone get me a drink." So I go into the underwear guy and get a couple shots, and I handed to him, go, "Here, wash the fag out of your mouth." And his friend, it was like she was waiting for it or something. She was like, "Hey, don't you talk to my friend like that." And I'm just like, I said it nicely. He's the one making out with a dude. Like, golly, he is like, jump on my back.
Oh my God. Oh, dear Jesus.
If y'all can't tell, I don't care about my channel getting
Yes, you killed me, dude.
monetized or whatever.
But I had already said it a few times that night to begin with, and every reaction was just like, "Whoa, who the fuck are you? Why are you here?" Like, homophobe, homophobe, And I'm just like, what the hell? When were we not allowed to say it? Like when did that happen?
Hey, the black guy can't say nigga no more.
Exactly. It's freaking ridiculous. I avoid the
Screw
word.
it. I still call white people honkies.
Oh man, yeah. I tell people right now, if you ever join my stream, guys, if you ever join my stream, you can say whatever you want. When I say abide by the terms and conditions of YouTube's policies, I mean don't show any lewd pictures or anything like that, please, because again, I'd have to trace your IP, and then we have to go ahead and send it out to the FBI or whoever that might have to be. But main thing I say is say whatever the fuck you want.
Right. Yeah.
Say it, because I appreciate it. I appreciate honesty. I appreciate the the direct conversation. I love saying nigga. I love it. I don't care.
Topic should be of the victim mentality. That's an interesting topic.
I think that'll be. I do want to bring up the victim mentality in a future discussion. But I definitely want to talk about the main discussion right now across the world is racism. That'll be the next discussion. Racism around the world. But again, my opinion is very unpopular amongst most because again they do not like whenever I speak about something that I find that some people find controversial, and I'm like, hey man, to be honest, it ain't that bad. And they're like, "Oh, what do you mean it's not that bad? Fuck! Oh shit! Oh, nigga thinks for himself."
Yeah, people are just so quick to come to a conclusion and keep it. I had a roommate up north, and he liked to he liked to say, "Oh, I can read people. I'm very good at reading people." Which to me says I'm gonna come to conclusions about this person and then not change them ever. And that's exactly how he did it. Is that my first impression of him, or his first impression of me, stuck the whole time. So it was
Baby.
it's like, come on, man, you can't be a set like me. I read people. I like to learn from other people, kind of thing. But it's not like I'm saying, well, now I know GTAG. I know GTAG so well, and I know him better than he does. Yeah,
I'm gonna give you guys a quick heads up. We got 20 minutes. 20 minutes on the clock.
for sure.
Okay. Just a quick heads up. I can say anything. That's true, Paul. You can. You can say anything you want. That's
Yeah.
why I say you can jump up in here. You can drop the N-bomb all you want. I won't say nothing about it.
Yeah.
It's just a clip.
You need to get some new dishes done.
Well,
We're not leaving it.
the club is the last place you want to pick up, guys.
Do you like NASCAR to say, no, it doesn't make you racist. It doesn't make you racist. No, no. If you like the Confederate flag too, I don't care if you like that either.
And even on that topic, the punishment for being racist, being racist, I think, is punishment enough. Nobody likes racists. Nobody wants to hire a racist. Nobody wants to be around them. So I'm not going to be all like, oh, cast them out of the city, get them, exile, kind of thing. It's just like, all right, man. Oh gosh, I have a really funny racist story. So this, I
I
used
can
to
tell you the best cure. The best cure for racism is capitalism.
and humor.
And to be honest, because when it comes down to it, people would rather not deal with racists as a business, and they'll take their business elsewhere.
You're right.
And that poor dude that's racist has a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was living in Louisiana, and my grandmother had a friend who was like, at any rate, he is this, what do they call it? Overall wearing, beard gut, simpleton kind of guy, and barely doesn't even know how to program a remote kind of thing. So we're not talking about the biggest of brains here, and we're talking about stuff. And I just gotten there. He's like, "Oh, you're from Texas, huh? Got them niggas down there." I'm just like, sticks too.
Wow.
Like, holy crap, dude, this guy is fucking ridiculous. Oh, like, wow, like, jeez.
Yeah.
He lives off of welfare. He never leaves his house. It's not like he interacts with black people. So it's just like, what are we supposed to? Just ignore him. Just ignore the guy. Like,
Yeah. I think one day I forgot, we were in St. Louis, but this guy, was just sitting at his trailer park, just doing his thing. I wasn't fucking caring. We went to the store across the street, bought a whole bunch of fucking candy and shit because we were young. It was like fucking hot fries and Cheetos and fucking shit like that. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? This is fucking gonna give me a fucking ulcer. This is my thinking now. But we come out there with like bags of candy, soda pops, everything. And this white guy comes across the street and he's like, look at that. Fucking nigger rich, aren't they? And I was like, we were like, what is nigger rich? And we were like hard on ER too. Like, nigger rich? What is nigger rich?
Young to even know what racism is, kind of thing.
Nigger
Remember, Christopher Hitchens, man, I tell you, he continues to give me strength to be brave when talking about controversial topics. That's for sure.
Yeah, so he said that we were nigger rich, and I was like, what the fuck does that? He goes, it means you got some money and you're spending it all right away. I was like, Oh, okay, I get it. All right. We'll see. We'll see you later, dude. All right, fine, whatever. And that's what first time I ever heard nigger. I was like, whoa, excuse me, because I heard the word nigger before. I've never heard niggers before. I was like,
polite, but the tone didn't. Because like you hear a new word, you don't know what the hell it means.
yeah, I was young. That was the first time I ever heard some shit like that, and like hearing people say like niglet.
Oh God!
I heard that shit, and I heard that I laughed because I was like, "What the fuck is a niglet?" Oh, yeah, you're a niglet. I was like, "What the fuck is a niglet?" And I laughed because
I haven't heard this in years.
I was like, he's like, "You're a fucking little." He's like, "You're a fucking little nigger." I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ, you're a racist." I was like, "I gotta leave." I was like, "I gotta leave." Right? It's like this. I was like, but they had to learn that from somebody. They had to learn that from somebody. They had to learn that from their close knit group that they enjoy saying that shit. I was like, my gosh, you enjoy saying that so much that you're so comfortable going out to somebody and
Well,
just
you bring up a good point there, actually.
yeah,
A lot of people may just like the shock value.
right.
Like,
That's what a lot of it is. Shock.
yeah, like cussing is one of those things. Like for me, I like censorship. To me, I think is bullshit. Even with the tiny words like fuck and shit like that, and shit, is that I think exposing children, right? Like if I always say, if I'm gonna have kids, I'm gonna teach them how to cuss early so they don't look like idiots in middle school. It's kind of like I went to Job Corps, right, where a lot of troubled kids go, or young adults go to kind of get a second chance, kind of thing, or a last chance, I should say. And one of the big things I had was that the counselor was like, "It's wrong to sag, it's wrong to cuss, it's wrong to this, and it's wrong to that." And I'm just like, can I make a rebuttal here? Like, it's just if you want a good job and you want to keep it, you got to do what they say. If you want to sag and work at the same time, find a job that lets you sag. Like, don't tell these kids that they're wrong for sagging. They just look like idiots. Whatever. Who cares? They don't look like idiots to themselves. Like, I wear a fucking trench coat and black makeup and shit. Like, it's like I guess I have an interesting perspective on that. Then I don't know, but but definitely with cussing, right? Like, if people would just use fag more often at the clubs, they wouldn't be so freaking ridiculous about it. I remember when people could say that. Like, I don't know why it's not a good thing anymore. Of course, now the gay pride place, right? The gay community kind of thing. They painted rainbows in the crosswalks. I guess okay, fine, never mind. I'll concede that because it is the gay town. So whatever. Yeah. I'm just finding reasons to mac on them because they're so freaking annoying sometimes. All the time.
You're gonna kill G-Shade, man. You're gonna make him sit there and stop breathing.
I just think it's funny. Like, I suggest we use the term "fag" more often. I just picture like a politician, like just a politician saying,
"Yes,
people get outside and just say nigger." Just
I would
go up to anybody. Exactly.
Yeah. Scream it at the top of your lungs.
Say nigger, we're going to get rid of half the darlings today.
Like places like Canada, you can actually go to jail for saying cuss words around women and children. A grown woman could be in the room, and you could possibly go to jail for saying a cuss word in front of her. So it's just like, golly. Can't wait to see Joe Biden and Biden and for real. Saw two. Rubber bullet. Oh gosh. Yeah, don't look up Bad Dragon.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things I've had to deal with in my like I remember those two specific reasons right there. I try to forget about it, but I just remember I just thought like What the fuck is a niglet? Like, what the fuck? You know, like, when I first heard it, I was like, man, that's gonna stick with me for life because I find that shit funny.
Right.
That's funny, all right? Because I find things funny. I find things like, I noticed that people give a lot of power to, racist comments, right?
Right.
If you give it too much power, then that person can destroy your whole life off of saying one word. I'm like, you're letting somebody ruin your whole day for saying one thing. Like, let that shit go. Fucking like, let them realize how stupid. Just like just do this, stupid, and walk off.
A really good philosophy would be to treat them like children. What do you do when a child is doing something they shouldn't? You don't go, no, 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 no. Because then they go, I'm gonna test my boundaries. I'm gonna try it again and see how far I can go, kind of thing. No, you just, I guess that's a bad example. I was thinking,
like my 6-month daughter. What I do is I see her trying to do some crazy shit. Of course, there's some things I'll keep her out of the way of, but she was pulling at something, and I was putting it away, and I kept putting it out of her reach, and she trying to like turn over and grab it, and I just look like, you know what? She just doesn't understand. Like, I'm trying to keep her away from it, and she keeps trying, and she's turning over, and there's like a small ledge that she's about to fall over.
Right.
I was like, can you not? And I'm sitting there trying to like, look. So what do? I pick her up and I move her. Obviously, I move her because she's obviously focused on the saddle. Now I said, whenever she's old enough to understand no, and don't do that, definitely I'm going to stop moving her out of that way because, eventually she's going to have to learn. Like, when Dad says no, he's actually not trying to tell me not to stop, to stop doing things.
Right.
He's trying to make sure I don't hurt myself.
Like, you can't exactly punish a baby that small, at least reasonably. But you definitely probably got better.
Enjoy it while they're that young.
Kids than I do. Say again.
You said enjoy while they're that young.
Enjoy it while they're that young.
Yeah.
I sit there and say something like that to my 13-year-old. She ends up popping me in the back of the head, and then I have to sit there and Joe pop her back.
I'm not.
They get evil as they get older.
I'm what is it? I'm very fair when it comes to dealing out what I deem as a punishment, as you can say. So, like, say you're doing something I said not to do, and I know it might hurt you if you do it.
Yeah.
And you can do it. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say, bet your ass won't do that again.
Well, spanking worked on me. If I got spanked, I was shamed. I felt shamed because I had disappointed my dad. But like, it never worked on my brother. Right? Grounding didn't work on me, but nothing worked on my brother at all. You could spank him, he'd do it anyway. And my dad was not the here, get over here, I'm gonna spank the shit out of you. Punishment in our house was freaking like, it was like, all right, this is what you did wrong. This is what you we're gonna and we would discuss what the punishment was. How many spankings do you deserve? That kind of thing. And then I have to count them out. And as soon as he was done, it was all right. Did that hurt? No. And I'm like, all right, I guess we're gonna do more. Like, no. So spanking worked on me. Good. If done, I don't know if there's a wrong or a right way to spank, but I think that certainly the way he did it.
I definitely want to talk about more like punishments.
Oh, right.
By the way, we got like 5 minutes left or 6 minutes. But what I told my wife is what I'm gonna do is whenever my child is acting up, instead of spanking her or anything, I'm gonna make her do exercises. I'm telling you, like, she's gonna start doing squats, push-ups, the little wall sits, everything. I'll say, look, if my baby comes out buff as hell, look, she was a badass kid growing up, right? So obviously she needs some more listening. So if she's not listening to the discipline I'm giving her, because look, you can whip somebody all the time. Right. They get used to that. Oh, whatever. Yeah. My grandma used to hit me with a switch, and guess what? She hit me with a switch so much, I was like, whatever. It's not even hurting me. whatever, whatever. Let's get it over with, Grandma. Blah, 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 blah. And it was over with, right? And I go out and do the fuck I was going to get anyway, because I was like, this shit doesn't pay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're working out, it's gonna affect you regardless. It's like, all right, give me 20, give me 20 of those.
Good point there. Shit.
Yeah, give me 20 more, right? You know, oh no, I can't get 20 more,
I
right?
wouldn't have thought of that. Jeez.
But
No,
yeah,
that's a great idea.
Hell no. When I was young, it made me go cut my own switch, and if it didn't fit the standard, I had to go get another one.
Yeah.
nah, I remember when all right, this is funny. My grandma was always whooping our ass, right? Just whooping our ass for whatever reason. She'd always say, "Oh, you're talking back," and I tell the story all the time. She's like, "Oh, you're talking back?" I said, "Oh, Grandma, I just said hello." There you go, you talking back. Go get a switch. So we go get a switch. Boom. Right? And she whip her ass. Blah, 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 blah. Now go to your room. I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, you talking back? Go get another switch. And she whip her ass. And I was like, damn, man, she's whipping her ass. What the fuck? So me and my little brother, like, one day, were like, fuck it. You know, if she asks us to get another switch, we're going to go get a fucking switch. Right? So, you know, we came in the next day and she says, you know, what are y'all doing in my house? You know, something to argue about. And she said, you know what? Go get a switch. I said, all right, bro, come on, let's go get a switch. We came in the house with this big ass tree trunk. Said, go ahead, grandma, fucking hit us with it. You know you want to fucking do it. And my girl, she's like, what the fuck are you bringing in this fucking branch in my house like this for? Right? And she went and grabbed this wooden paddle with the holes in it, right?
Oh, God.
She said, put your hands on the table.
No.
And
that shit hurts.
And she did that so much to us, you know, because after that, she started making us get switches because she knew, like, all right, we're going to get the big fucking switch. Fuck that. You know, you going to hit us with a big ass fucking 2x4 or whatever. You ain't going to hit us with no damn. But she went and grabbed the paddle. She started hitting us with the paddle and realized that's no longer affecting us, right? So we're like, whatever, fucking boom, 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 whatever, it's done. You know,
yeah.
You hit us 3 times with the paddle, whatever, grandma.
I got calluses on my butt.
Yeah. I always make the joke because when my grandma passed away, I say, you know, she passed away. We went to the funeral and nobody said anything because we were afraid she'd wake up. So I'm like, you talking back?
Like, oh, hell
this is a true story.
Is that right?
There's a little old black lady that lives in my town.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of her kids are highly successful. Lawyers, doctors, you name it, they're successful. And I made the mistake of asking her what was the secret to raising her children. She spanked them in the morning before they went to school in case they thought about doing something. She spanked them when they got home after school in case they did do something. And when they did do something, they got double the whooping. That was her secret of success.
You know, like, I want to get the hell out of here.
It's a true story.
I want to become a to get out of my mom's house.
Oh man!
It's actually kind of how Dad wound up. Is that my grandparents are both sides are just absolutely awful. And my dad's had his face slammed into the dinner plate on a number of occasions just for having his elbows on the table. So, and he tried to get he got away as fast as he could. He used religion to get away. Or he used, the Peace Corps to get away, and a war and all that, kind of thing. But at any rate, I envy people who have decent grandparents. That's for sure. We'll leave it at that.
All right, y'all. We're on our final minute here. We're on the final minute. But did y'all have anything y'all wanted to shout out before we go ahead and disconnect?
It was awesome seeing you guys. Paul Jackson. Malaya. I know Malaya Jax had a good point earlier. Paul Jackson's been awesome. So Ken, of course. Ken's here too. I knew that.
Support your auditors.
No, you did.
The Batusai. SAX Express. Support these guys. Jack Miller. They can't do it without us being behind them and watching their videos.
Thank you.
All
right.
Yep. Other than that,
Even Honest Gas, watch his channel.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was
And
He makes
guys,
cool stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But as I always say, thank you guys for joining in. If you guys have a different opinion to what to my own, definitely feel free to join. Discuss. Use the links next time. Definitely come in and have a discussion. If you guys want to show monetary support, as y'all know, I don't really accept donations, but if you like, you can go to thorn.org. And again, that website is thorn, as in the rose, thorn.org. So y'all can leave a donation over there. I don't get any of the funds. But again, once we are able to go ahead and start getting our 501c3 set up, I may open up donations again so that we can start giving back to the homeless community as we always do. Handing out waters. I saw a great idea off of Freddy Potato's channel, which was getting Little Caesar's pizza. So we might actually start doing that as well, to start giving that to the homeless people in downtown Dallas, maybe in Fort Worth. But again, if you guys have any other questions for me, please leave them in the comments. You always have my email in the About section. Love, peace, chicken grease. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for sharing y'all's opinion. Y'all have a great day.
Think of new ideas as well for topics.
Everybody have a great night. Enjoy your Father's Day.
Thank you guys.
Have a good one.